Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. The other thing is I did switch over to WAP instead of Patreon. Again, paid people who already pay for my Patreon, don't worry about this. But if you want to get my Patreon, my WAP is only going to be open for the next probably week or so. So if you're interested in getting that, I live stream every single day in the morning and then occasionally in the afternoons. So yeah, and then also the Apex 90% off sale ends tomorrow. Make sure you click the link in the description. Again, they're really good practice. So let's get started without further ado. So I'm going to be going over how I do my top-down analysis. I've done a video like this before, but I'm going to redo it. And it is approximately 8:40 a.m. I probably will not start trading until 9 or 9:30. Probably not. It depends on if I see a setup or not. And really the first thing I do, I have not looked at the chart and like thoroughly, and probably since last Friday, because yesterday was a holiday, and then Monday I didn't really pay attention that much because of the low volume. So today I really have no idea what's going on. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to check the weekly time frame. Okay, what's the weekly time frame doing? And immediately the first thing I do notice is I like to check ES and NQ, by the way. So the first thing I do notice is ES did hit buy side, okay? But we did create, it looks like we did create an order block here. So we have an order block in the weekly time frame. So I think that's going to be the first important level I mark out because it's the higher time frame PDRA. So I'm just going to go to the 5 minute. I'm just going to keep that marked. And let's say if we retrace down there and get a long setup, I'll look for a long, okay? And it does look like we have an order block in NAS too. We are cutting through this a little bit. But the one thing I do notice is there is an SMT. So a little trickier because I could see a short or a long setting up. And if that's the case, if I can see like a short or a long setting up, what I like to do is I go to the hourly or 4 hour on ES or NAS, and I'll see, okay, is there any bullish for value gaps? And indeed there is. This one's perfectly in discount. So what I think about this is, because I can see a short and a long setup, what I'll do is, if we get a short setup, I'll look short down here, and then once we get in here, I'll kind of scale, or I'll take most off, and then I still will not have a bullish bias, but if we get a long setup out of this, I will not mind taking it, if that makes sense. So I think this is an important thing to have marked, because if we have bullish bias, I think it's smart to look for longs even though we might not get some down here. So my first thing is I'm going to look for longs if we get down here, just in case. And then what I will say is if we violate this, we're probably going to run down to these lows, okay? A lot of built up liquidity down here if we violate this. So that's really the thing I'm looking for now. If we go to like the 1 hour on NAS, kind of the same area. We have, I'm guessing NAS would be here by the time ES got there as well. So really these are my conditions right now. If we get a long setup out of it, I wouldn't mind taking it, but if we violate them, I'll look to short to down here. So really I start with weekly. If I can read the weekly well, which I relatively can because this order box here, which is super clean, you don't have to check the daily. Just know the daily is inside of fair value gap, okay? But the problem with longing this fair value gap for a swing position is we did already hit this high, so definitely a lot more riskier. And this fair value gap is kind of big, so if it's kind of big, what do? I go to the 4 hour, and I kind of narrow down a little bit to the 4 hour or 1 hour, and you can just see, you can just keep narrowing it down. And I think the 1 hour is the best case to use in this, not even the 30 minute. And the 15 minute is almost, okay, the 15 minute actually does kind of line up a little bit. So yeah, the 15 minute would probably be the best here. If the 15 minute was way off the hourly or 4 hour, I probably would not use it, but this does kind of line up. So I start with the weekly. If I need to, I'll check the daily, but the weekly I can read relatively well because the order block. And then I'll look for a more precise fair value gap in the 4 hour, 1 hour, and if the 15 minute does line up, I'll draw that out. So I'm going to go on the day with this marked out. And then really if we get to here, that's when I go to the lower time frame, like the 5 minute or 1 minute, and I just look for a long setup. Okay, right now there's not too much volume in the 1 minute. You can just tell because the barcode and candles. But yeah, that's kind of a top-down analysis approach. And the other thing I would like to say is, do not draw 50 million fair value gaps. You should not have this drawn and this drawn, and like, don't draw every fair value gap you see. Okay, draw one, create a condition to the one. Don't overcomplicate it. If we get to the one, you'll play the setup. If not, you just wait. Okay. And sometimes if like I do notice there's this one, I'm not gonna draw it, but like if we were to get up here and did get a short setup, I would be interested in looking to short this to down here. But I don't really have to draw this. You can just kind of eye it. I kind of just draw the biggest one on my chart just to remind me it's there. So this is the biggest one. It's the most obvious. It's also 15 minutes, a 4 hour. So this is the one I'm gonna have drawn for the day. And yeah, so that's what I like to do. Euro, I was interested in this buy side hitting, but we only ever hit internal. We never hit external. So as long as we do hold this fair value gap, I still am very interested in this buy side hitting. So again, Euro, I don't even have to check the weekly because the weekly is already bouncing off weekly fair value gap right here. Daily, daily's a little harder to read. Weekly's more clean. And then if we go down to 4 hour, 4 hours very clean. Right, we took sell side before our fair value gap. So this is where you just go to lower time frame and look for smaller time frame long. So that's it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions about this top-down analysis. And other than that, enjoy your guys' day. Peace out.